Hello and welcome to the Grand Cinema Hotel, a podcast hosted by two friends who love cinema. I'm Oliver and I'm joined by my co-host Gus. Tonight you'll be staying in room 163, Cocaine Bear, the latest comedy from Elizabeth Banks. So go ahead, get comfortable and throw on that do not disturb sign as we try to make sense of a bear on cocaine in Cocaine Bear.
It fell from the sky this morning.
There's more of this out there. They dumped it somewhere.
A lot of cocaine was lost. I need you to go and get it.
No, don't eat that, don't eat that. Let's see what kind of effect that has on it.
The bear. It did cocaine.
What's going on, all my happy campers? And thank you for checking back into the Grand Cinema Hotel. As always, I'm joined by Alvaro.
What's up, guys?
And tonight we're here to talk about Cocaine Bear.
Yes, Cocaine Bear. Yes, very interesting, I would say, choice even for us to want to talk about this one. I think what it comes a lot of stems from is that we talk about how there's certain movies that don't get made anymore and our love for the mid-budget, and this is one of those, honestly.
Yeah, especially Universal has been doing this a lot lately, right?
Yeah.
Like Megan and Cocaine Bear, Bros. You know what I mean? Like
Exactly.
they're taking a lot of the, I wouldn't even say it's a risk. but-
Renfield, right, is upcoming.
Yeah, there you go, right? Renfield. I feel like they're just releasing a lot of movies that you don't really get anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess it feels like a risk because sometimes you watch them and you're like, yeah, this is why we don't get these anymore.
Yeah,
But I'm glad they do it.
I think it's an interesting plan that they have, just because these movies are the reason they don't come out anymore is because they go to streaming. You know, this movie would
Like
still
Sick.
get made, yeah,
Yeah.
and it would get made, and they would just put it on. It's going on Hulu, or this is going on, and because this movie kind of has that variant, is that there's so much memeability that they want to add to these movies.
Yeah, that's
Like, so funny. So they tried. I would have thought that the way to go was to make this available to everyone as soon as possible, and they made us go out to the theaters, which I always appreciate the studios to do. So that's why I'm like, maybe that's why I'm here vouching for it. But it's an interesting plan that they have, definitely.
Yeah, it's like to release Fast and the Furious movies and then just a bunch of mid.
Yeah,
right?
like Dune, and then this.
No, Dune is Warner
Brothers. Sorry, yeah.
But no, I mean, really, they don't have anything going on, right?
Mhm.
I would say the next big thing they really have going for them is Mario, right?
Yeah.
But other than that, Universal is kind of the king of the mid right now.
'Cause-
Which I'm really appreciating, though, because you need that balance, you know, of the big budget, the indie, and then the mid. And like with mid budget comes a lot of mid films.
Yeah.
But I like movies. Like, so
I think there was-
who doesn't want to see a bear on cocaine?
Yeah, I think there was like one of them was like, we obviously previously talked about it, Knocking the Cabin, right? That's another
there you
one
go.
that
There's
they
another
did.
one that they just
But I
did.
would say that one for me did transcend its, even if they thought it might be a mid type of approach to the movies that they were adding to. I thought that was the one that you said they're well balanced right now. That one for me hits them on the high. Like they release quality, and I think they believe that too, because they signed them on to wanting to do more. And there's all this mid that we talked about, and the mid I always appreciate because for some reason the general audience, which kind of tags it to where we wanted to go with this, loves showing out for the mid.
Yeah, man. People used to like going to the movies to see something that they knew was just going to be a talking point. You know, like, have you
Exactly.
seen Cocaine Bear?
Yep.
Yeah, I have. Like, if I was, this was 2003 and I was in school or something like that, I know I would have asked my friends, like, dude, did your parents take you to see Cocaine Bear? Like, are you allowed to see it?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Like, my mom wouldn't take me to go see it. Or, yeah, my dad took me.
What's
and my friends.
cocaine?
Yeah, what's cocaine? Literally, right? Like, that would have been my introduction to the drug cocaine.
Yeah.
Like, what is that? Oh man. You know, Disney has a chance to do this with 20th Century Studios or whatever it's called. I think it's called that, right?
Yeah.
Now that they dropped the Fox name, but they put it all on Hulu. So I do think that streaming still has that tinge of caution. You know what I mean? Like, you're a little tentative to watch some streaming movies. Like, maybe, right? But they have a bunch of movies that they could have dropped in the theater as well. But those are some cost-saving people over there, right? And
Yeah.
they're like, just drop it. Who cares? they're still under that approach of maybe it's good to not make any money on this movie, which I don't understand. But I like that Universal, you know, Megan could have been a flop. I guess we'll see if this is going to be a flop. But it's nice for them to take the chance of like, you know, hey, if we make this for $3 million, $5 million, and then we make 20, that's a win.
Maybe
So
they're
you gotta
listening.
take them where you can get them.
Maybe they're listening to a lot of people like us with their opinions that we're asking for a lot of mid. Like, all right, here it is. Can't say I didn't release it.
And speaking of mid, I'd like to talk about one of Elizabeth Banks' other films, Pitch Perfect 2.
Nice.
Right? Have you ever seen the Pitch Perfect films?
I've seen the first one. Yeah.
She didn't direct the first one. She directed the second one, which is a lot more ambitious film, I would say. If I had
More
to rank
ambitious
the Pitch Perfect
film.
movies,
Yeah.
it was really a step up. And honestly, the vision of the movie, right? You know, it goes international. It has celebrity cameos like Clay Matthews and some of the Packers from back in the day. But I don't think she's really had a chance to make a good movie yet, because the only other film she's directed is the 2019 Charlie's Angels.
Beaks.
Which, yeah, that was dead on arrival.
Yeah.
I think
That
it
was
wasn't
bad.
the right time to remake Charlie's Angels.
No.
I feel like you missed all the riz when you cast someone like Kristen Stewart and the chick from Power Rangers.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh no.
The original Charlie's Angels isn't very good, but it's the fact that it has Drew Barrymore and Cameron Diaz and Lucy Liu, like super riz. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. It's the girls you got in there.
So I do think that this is probably her best movie, even though this is once again not a very good movie.
Mm-hmm.
But
Should preface that.
I'm here for it.
Yeah, I'm here for it.
Who doesn't want to see a bear on cocaine, right? I love just the wild concept. I know it's kind of based on a true story. Spoiler alert. The bear just fucking died after it ingested 77 pounds of cocaine.
Like what you would
So
think could happen.
it's a stretch that they even made the movie off of this, and it's a stretch to even say that it's a true story. I guess it's a true story in the way you can tell a lie on a lie detector test, right? You're like, technically, there was a cocaine bear. Like, did it kill anybody? I mean, I don't know, did it?
I'd like to think that whoever made the decision to greenlight this at Universal is like one of their kids stumbled upon the script and like, this is funny, and it was enough for the kids will love this, you know. Or it was no, Dad, you don't know how many memes will come with this, and he's like, we should try that, because in any other circumstance, I don't see how this movie wouldn't have gone straight to streaming. I still would have watched it straight to streaming. I think there's a lot of movies that catch my attention in that way. Kind of, we talked about the audience when we went to go see this. This was more packed than a lot of movies we've gone to go see. Had to get more of the side seats because the middle ones were already kind of taken up. And this was an early Thursday preview showing, so everybody rushed to want to see the Cocaine Bear.
Yeah, who could have thought, right?
Yeah.
I mean, humans are very curious, right?
Yeah.
So if you tell me there's a bear on cocaine, I'm there.
The second that the trailer said based on a true story, you got people, because this is gonna be somebody's, as little kids when we were teenagers, like, no, but this happened though.
Yeah,
you know, even though, because all it said was based on a true story, no one's ever gonna go look up what the facts are or not.
One of the things I wanted to bring up was how you mentioned it being an idea that would usually end up on streaming. I wouldn't even say like Hulu level or HBO Max level. I'm talking like Redbox or like,
Exactly.
you know, I don't know if you guys have seen the meme going around of the Velocipaster, right?
Yeah,
like something like that.
Tubi.
Yeah, like Tubi level quality. But I can picture the Redbox cover in my head of like just a bear standing up screaming and like cocaine bear. Right? And something is different when you just have that universal touch and a director like Elizabeth Banks, and it doesn't just seem, it just seems like there's a level of professionalism there that you wouldn't get on one of these like Redbox movies.
Exactly.
Like, because it is no different than something like the Velocipaster or Sharknado or anything like that.
It's not. It's really not.
It's not. You know, it is as dumb as the Meg. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I don't know why it had that touch, right?
Yeah, and
Probably America's love for cocaine, honestly.
it's just, I mean, it's the 80s, man. You know, it's just there's other aspects to this movie that I think have also carried it for people to really want to watch it. I'll obviously get more into it once we touch on the cast. But the Cocaine Bear is just we wanted to talk about the marketing a little bit, which, I mean, at first it obviously got our attention. I think they did a good job to really put the name out there before the movie was really kind of even the trailer had dropped. But after that, it kind of became a little. We talked about a little cringe. Honestly,
Yeah, it was peaking.
they knew they were. I guess they were just. I understood they really were banking off the fact that this movie wasn't going to be good, and it was just weird to see it being approached that way.
Yeah, right. Like, isn't it wild that we made this, and where everybody's like, "Yeah, it is." Wild
Yeah,
that
exactly.
you made this, and I'm there. I thought what saved it was I'm probably gonna pronounce his name wrong, but Scott Cease or Scott Seiss. He's the IKEA TikTok guy.
Yeah,
He alone is selling so many tickets with his funny TikToks about Cocaine Bear, which I highly recommend you go watch.
Yeah.
And if you haven't seen any of his other TikToks, he's one of my favorite people on there. I think he's so
yeah,
funny.
he's hilarious.
But yeah, they're really. I don't see how this movie is gonna fail. Because of just the name and stuff like that, you know.
I think I wanted to bring a little interesting anecdote. My brother obviously is younger. He has other friends who go to movies who don't go to movies very often. I don't think they've even watched any of the Marvel's last movies, but for some reason they showed out for Cocaine Bear and they hated it. I don't think maybe based off the marketing, like I'm saying, that we received from it, I got what I expected. You know, so like
Yeah.
I never would have gone in there expecting this movie to be a movie that we're gonna sit here and compare to Knock on the Cabin, because it's not. I know it knows where it lives and what stratosphere it lives. It's not trying to be something that's gonna be at the Academy Awards, or that is something that it's gonna attach to another universe. Because I told them, I was like, would they have liked it if the bear had been from a comic book from 60 years ago and then the villain was somebody from outer space?
Yeah.
Maybe, right? But it's the fact that or the CGI is bad, but it's like
So is all the Marvel movies.
yeah, and then here it's like it knows it is in certain spots, but there's other moments in this film where I think it took itself more seriously than I thought it would, and those are the moments that made me actually like it. So it is interesting to see that from a younger dynamic that doesn't really go to the movies all that bad, but the reasons they don't like it is because they're like it's like cringe, But I'm like, well, isn't that because I feel like the prototype of humor of a movie like this, a universal mid budget, is the safe way to do things is to approach a movie with the similar Marvel comedy, because people will eat that up.
Yeah.
And I feel like this movie follows that plan. There's a lot of jokes here that I think would be in a Marvel movie,
Yeah, it really isn't the funniest movie. I think what works for me more is the
Ridiculousness, right?
horror sequences.
Yeah,
honestly.
exactly. Me
Because
too.
it is technically a horror comedy. It isn't really a thriller. It really lives in that world of like terrifying jump scares, and then I guess laugh out loud comedy. I guess depending on who. Your sense of humor.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Because I do think there was a lot of mixed reactions in our theater.
Right.
I think some people were laughing out loud. I always wonder if these are the people who I am also a cocaine bear.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I was wondering, I'm like, how many people in here are either high on cocaine right now or are just cokeheads and they're like,
This is
what
cool.
it's
That
like.
yeah,
You know
exactly.
what I
It's
mean?
cool that they make this.
So, it's a funny point I saw about movies like Cocaine Bear, or movies where they call them like a drug fueled ride, right? It's like, okay, so I personally have never done cocaine, so it's like, I guess I just have to take their word for it. This is what it's like, right?
Yeah.
Or when they're like, oh, it's an acid trip. You're like, I guess so, right?
Yeah,
You're like,
yeah,
how
I
do you know
get-
it's not if you haven't done it, right?
Yeah, exactly. You can't tell on yourself too much.
Yeah, exactly.
But some people they wear it on their sleeve. So I get what you're saying. Like some people, a lot of dads whenever, yeah, I remember the 80s. Yeah, I remember. They were smugglers themselves.
I also thought it was funny that we were on the dine-in tables. So I'm like, I'm just waiting for the TikTok or the video to come out of like doing cocaine in the Cocaine Bear Theater, where it's like one of those dine-in trays and someone's just railing lines on a fucking while they're watching the movie. Right? I'm like, this is gonna happen. This is the world we live in, where we're gonna have this meme come out on TikTok.
Exactly. I had the joke to you while we were sitting there, like the Ant-Man helmet. Like, do they have the Cocaine Bear kit where they comes with the, with movie theater popcorn and a line?
Yeah, exactly.
AMC would be making
They
a lot of
put,
money.
AMC. Okay, look, this is why they gotta hire me.
Yeah,
Cocaine
exactly.
Bear popcorn, right? This is what you do. You get the popcorn, but then you use like extra thick, like kosher granulated salt, so you can see the white powder on top of the popcorn. And you like, get your Cocaine Bear popcorn.
It's got
Unleash your wild side. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? There you go. I wrote it for you.
But that's the fun stuff that comes with movies like this being released. Honestly, I think that That's where the love for movies really, I think, honestly, really transcends. Because anybody who's there, I do think they love movies. Because why would you want to be watching this on a Thursday? Why would you want to be watching Cocaine Bear? And I think it's because you like movies.
You could be catching up with The Last of Us or something.
Yeah,
so
exactly,
much better.
exactly.
I wanted to talk about this word of mouth, like love for the movies thing that we have going on right now, and it's like it's insane that we're just seeing like daytime television, like The View, just throwing out cocaine jokes left and right. Elizabeth Banks was on The View talking about like, oh, the movie's me, I'm the cocaine bear, and they're like, and we're seeing Whoopi Goldberg and all of these people who probably have done cocaine, loads of cocaine, just being like, oh, great, now's my chance to fucking
it's okay, right?
Rip, you know what I mean? Like, it is funny. So I do think that the backlash as well that we've been seeing is quite hilarious. It kind of reminds me of the Sam Smith satanic panic, blue hair wokeness fear that's going on the right side of the internet. You know what I mean? Like, I've seen doctors be like, how could they make a movie about a bear on cocaine? Why are they showing this to our children?
Oh my God.
Oh man.
I think that's the intended goal for the movie. And I think that's why we're here talking about it, because I think, in all honesty, it's done its job. We have to wait, obviously, for the numbers. I don't think it'll really bomb. I mean, how much do you have the budget of this movie?
Okay, yeah, it's 30 to 35,
and
it's already made 28.
Okay,
so that was
worth it.
It was already worth it. Yeah. So if they go 2 or 3 more weeks with a not so bad drop off, like a 30% drop off, which is, I would say, probably typical, right? From week to week, unless you're Ant-Man, which is absolutely bombing right now. It's at a 65% drop from the first week.
Like, only the heads went to go see it, and then it was done.
Exactly. So I do think that Cocaine Bear actually will pick up, and also I think by the time it hits VOD,
that's what it really
it's going to probably end up making around 60 or 70, and it will have been a worthy investment and probably enough to fund her next film.
Just wait till the clips are being able to get clipped and put on Twitter and get people to be able.
Once you start seeing the clips on Twitter is when you know that people are starting to pay $6 to watch it, or $20 to watch it.
Exactly.
Or, they might be pirates like some of the people we know. So. But
Buccaneers.
The word of, might have some Buccaneers in the audience. I think this is just the beginning of it. No pun intended. It's only going to get higher from here, I'm guessing.
Yeah. No.
It's just kind of wild though. But the movies are so back, right?
Yeah.
This is one of those examples of the good times that we could be living in. Is that this movie is even being talked about alone is insane. So that's kind of like my metric for like, okay, people are really watching movies again, or they're thirsty for just original ideas. Which this isn't the best idea. You know what I mean? Like, I guess the world wouldn't be less without Cocaine Bear, but I do think it's funny that, coworkers, your mom, your dad, just random people on the street all know what this is.
Yeah.
Which is kind of just a sign that maybe nature's healing. You know what I mean?
I think to be able to take people really indulge in that as a culture, we all try to relate, and we've all seen things or whatever. And I think TV shows have that hold right now. I think The Last of Us, Squid Game, but that is a very example that people do want to watch the same things or want to be able to discuss. And kind of like you said before, you go to The Office, did you see episode 7 of whatever show it was? And it was a whole conversation that made feel people have a community. Cocaine Bear, I think, is a community for people who maybe have never done drugs. They know there'd be a crazy aspect, might know the story. Maybe it's somebody who does do a lot of drugs and things like, yes, finally a movie about the stuff that I like. And then, but at the same time as me and you, it's just the love for the mid-budget movie, and the fact that they would make something so ridiculous and put $30 million down on it. They waste money on stuff they take seriously that bombed so much more worse, and to be able to make something that's literally just a meme movie, it's our sense of humor, man. I think if we had the same type of movie, we'd do some dumb shit like this.
Yeah, because the other studios that are out there right now, Disney and Warner Brothers, basically, right? Mm-hmm. Are they the only people who have? They're on similar playing ground. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm not going to judge Annapurna and Neon the same way I judge Universal. Right. I do think that Universal is just taking the most risk right now. I don't think Disney, with their 20th Century branch, is doing anything interesting, because if it is interesting, it's on Hulu just getting buried under that banner of
stream.
not just streaming, but those movies like when you go on Hulu, and I'm talking about when you actually are on the web on the app, right? It's so easy to just look at them and kind of like, whatever. 'Cause those posters are not interesting. The name's all tiny. You know, like I really do think that they're doing a disservice to themselves because they could have had like Prey could have been one of these hits, you know, where it's like, oh shit, Prey made $70 million. Or I don't think they have something like Megan or Bros or A Knock at the Cabin. I don't really understand what they're doing with that.
I see what you're saying.
I think it's just so obvious that they bought Fox for the IP. So all the original movies, they're just kind of like, eh. And then Warner Brothers, I don't know what they're doing. Like, I really don't understand. I mean, they're making Dune sick, right? But other than that, like they have the Flash, like they have the DC movies, which they can't figure out. So they're kind of still, I don't know, understanding how to release movies. I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, dude, they don't even release that many movies.
They have like their heroes versus really what's carrying them. Like, okay, we're gonna get the second Batman, we're gonna get the second Joker film, we're gonna get Dune, but there's no mid carrying them. There's no lows carrying them.
Yeah, because the most interesting thing that I think Warner Brothers would have is probably Steven Soderbergh dropping movies like once a year, twice a year on HBO Max. Mm-hmm. So like No Sudden Move, Kimmy, but I do think something like those movies could have made money in the box office. Maybe not Kimmy, but No Sudden Move. I feel like that would have been kind of like how they drop like See How They Run and stuff like that.
Yeah,
you know, like or Amsterdam. Like kind of why are you not? I don't know, taking any chances. I guess right. So. Good on Universal. It's probably because they're cranking out so much money right now with the theme parks.
That's what I was gonna say. I think Universal,
even though those two things are not connected, but you know they're in a good place right now.
They are willing to take the risk because they are the second big dog. So maybe they're like something's gonna work like this. I mean, I hope they don't think because this worked out so well that we should release a number 2 for Cocaine Bear, because that's when you lose the plot, brother. You know what I mean?
Oh, you know, I was gonna say this earlier. So, you know, hopefully Elizabeth Banks, she gets to make another movie, a bigger movie, maybe something more inspired. But, you know, the next young James Cameron is going to walk in and write on the whiteboard, Cocaine Bears, and then add a $sign at the end.
Yeah, exactly.
Cocaine Bears.
Multiple. Wait, maybe. I might be down.
Dude, the Cubs.
Exactly.
Right? No spoiler, okay. No spoiler, but the Cocaine Cubs, right?
Okay. Maybe I'm back in.
Yeah, I'm back in, dude. But I think we should get into the movie a little bit.
Okay.
There isn't really too much. I have a hard time talking about comedies. Do you?
Yeah, I mean, besides the Weird Al Yankovic one, I think it's really tiptoeing about really. I'm not going to tell you the jokes, you know what I mean. But the only reason Cocaine Bear might be a little easier is because you said the horror aspect. Some of the
I do like some of the tension that they have in the movie,
and some of the bloody scenes. I just was not expecting them to get like dude. That. Yeah.
Where
like I went, oh my God.
Maybe Elizabeth Banks, I need a horror movie from her. That would be kind of sick, honestly. Yeah. Oh, I'm liking this idea more now. Like Elizabeth Banks becoming a horror director. Can she make a Jordan Peele turn?
The guy works like, how would she have done bodies?
Yeah, true. Honestly, it'd probably be more cringe. Her sense of humor is pretty cringe.
Yeah, exactly.
I know she didn't write this movie, but you know, as the director, you do have a lot of sway to kind of get in there and be like, I don't think this is working with the script, but because of Pitch Perfect and Charlie's Angels and this movie, I would just say that her comedic sensibility is not for me, but that doesn't dissuade me from maybe her making a turn into a different type of filmmaker.
The writer from this. Sorry to cut you off. You've seen the Babysitter, the Killer Queen one. That's the writer of this movie.
Yeah, the movie sucks. I mean, I watched it because of
Jenna Ortega.
The second one?
The second one, yeah.
Yeah, Jenna Ortega's in the second.
He's an actor in the first one. Jimmy Warden.
Who?
That's the writer for this movie.
Yeah, so I don't think it's a very well written movie, but I do think that there's a lot of exciting sequences in the film.
Yeah, me too. That's where I think I enjoy it. And I get what you're saying about it being hard to talk about. I think we could probably start with the cast, which I think is kind of a highlight of this movie. The first one that I kind of have on here is Sorry, which is played by Kerry Russell. I knew I recognized
her name.
Yeah.
Wow. Talk about the whole, you like Avatar, name a character's name. I like Cocaine Bear, and I did not know that Kerry Russell's name was Sorry.
Yeah. Sari.
Wasn't that the dog's name in fucking Prey? Pretty
Oh
sure
yeah,
it
it's
was-
pretty similar.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Anyways.
the last thing that I did recognize her from as soon as she came up was Antlers. When we watched Antlers,
Yeah.
she's the teacher, right? So she's in a lot of movies that I like. I wouldn't say she's a standout actress, but she, like everybody in this movie, they play their role to as they should. They don't. I don't feel like they do much more, and I don't think they falter their role. They just do enough.
Yeah, because I don't know. I don't think they're being given a challenge.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And it's like, how can you really elevate this? I don't think that the only problem I would say is that I don't think of this cast as a particularly funny cast. Like O'Shea Jackson Jr., I still think he's trying to get out of his dad's shadow.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to not see Ice Cube when you're looking at him. I mean, dude, you look
looks
almost
like-
identical to your dad.
Yeah.
So it's just tough. And even when he's putting on that tough guy facade, it's not the same. As
No,
his
it's not.
dad's, you know, because you knew who Ice Cube was, and then you know the differences of how this kid grew up, and you're kind of like, I don't take you serious, you know?
You can't.
I liked him a lot more in the Aubrey Plaza film Ingrid Goes West.
Okay.
You remember him
Yeah,
in that?
yeah.
He was like a friend of hers, and I just remember him because he vaped a lot in the movie. Honestly.
I think he
But
has.
I thought
to-
he gave a good performance in that.
that movie, it makes sense that he feels like he'd be part of that culture, you know, because of how we know he grew up. For stuff now, I think it never does a service to him that he's in movies that are low budget or mid budget at best. You know, he's never been in something where I'm gonna be like, dang.
He was in, I mean, obviously he was in Straight Outta Compton, right? And that was a wonderful performance. But he was playing his dad, so how hard was it really, right? But you know, he's been here and there. I don't think that he's really had a great career so far. But he was in Godzilla, King of the Monsters, but he just played a soldier, right?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
He was in that movie that I don't know that many people have seen. But do you remember Seth Rogen made a movie a while ago called Long Shot with Charlize Theron?
Oh,
where
yeah.
he's like a journalist.
Yeah.
I never saw that movie.
Neither
but
did
he's
I.
in that as well. So
He's like a best friend in that, right, or
I
something
think
like that.
so.
Yeah,
So
I remember that.
I'm still waiting for him to kind of make his mark, and
Me
I
too.
don't know if it's necessarily going to be comedy. I do think I could see him more in the action,
Yeah.
action star, or just straight up dramas.
I just need to see him in something serious. Yeah, I don't know what he has been has he done something like that's supposed to be serious where he does show his acting? Because I
Yeah.
feel like he's just Ice Cube's son.
Yeah, but I also don't get those nepo baby vibes from him.
No,
where
I
I'm
don't.
Like, he doesn't deserve this. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, I think he's trying.
No, yeah. So I don't think he really gives the best performance in this, but I honestly think that his chemistry with his co-star Alden Ehrenreich, young Han Solo.
Young Han Solo.
It's been a while since he's been on screen, or at least
They casted him out because of that.
He was banished to the shadow
Be like,
realm.
you destroyed Han Solo. Be like, well, all I did was follow the script.
It's not even that bad.
Yeah, it's not.
Right?
It's really
just
not.
boring.
Yeah.
It's just an unnecessary, boring movie. But I actually don't think that Solo is a horrible, worse Star Wars movie than some of the other ones.
No,
I
I
just
don't.
think it's totally unnecessary. That's its downfall. But I didn't think his chemistry with Alden Ehrenreich was believable at all. And they're the closest thing we have to like friends in the movie.
Right.
But you know, they're part of the drug runner. I guess it's a cartel or something like that, right?
It's joke. Yeah.
But the biggest standout in the cast, and it wasn't because of his performance, was Ray Liotta.
Yeah.
I couldn't think of anything more symbolic than what Babylon was trying to say the entire time than Ray Liotta's performance in this
movie.
dude.
I think
And how it ends.
that's where the support as a moviegoer really came in, and also it's sad, I guess, to just see what he was like looking like at his last kind of movie. You know what I mean? After really, in my head, he's always the guy from Goodfellas. You know?
Yeah, and that's why, dude, it's like Babylon spent 3 hours trying to paint this picture of the fading movie star and seeing a ghost on screen, and all you had to do was watch Cocaine Bear.
With Ray Liotta.
Yeah, and it was much more entertaining. You know what I mean? Just it really was something to be like, this is like a sad ending. You know, that this was his last movie.
Yeah, and like you said, there's like the final scenes in this movie are like, I don't know if we were as sensitive as as people might usually be. This is something that we would be celebrating, but I think it's the fact that in the stage that he was at in his life, he had no problem making a movie like this.
He probably needed the cash. Let's be real.
Yeah.
That's how it is for most actors in their older age. But I kind of did want to spoil how his ending goes, just because it's Ray Liotta, and I don't think this movie is.
He's not the main character.
He's not the main character, but Ray Liotta's last on-screen appearance being ripped to shreds by a cocaine bear
Cubs?
and his intestines being pulled out by cubs that are high on cocaine was that.
Karen.
That's so sad. It's just like, wow, that's how he'll be. That's not how he's going to be remembered, because
Obviously.
yeah, in the history of Hollywood, no one's going to remember that this movie ever even came out. But yeah, man, I was just like, wow, Damien Chazelle couldn't have even written this. You know what I mean?
Like, just in comparison, for example, he was going down the very similar road to Bruce Willis, right? Where those last movies is like, there's like 6 last movies where Bruce Willis probably doesn't even know he's Bruce Willis anymore.
Yeah.
But the fact that he's still alive, we're like, oh, thank God. Like, that's not the ending. But here it does become tragic, I think.
It is kind of sad that he didn't have like his Irishman. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but like he got Marriage Story, before, but there was not his, like you're talking about. And even it's funny that you bring that up, because that bugged him too. And he made that very obvious that he wasn't in the Irishman.
Oh, did he really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was very sad about that.
Yeah, I mean, Marriage Story is probably a better end of the legacy, but it does suck because it just sucks.
He's a great. He was
he's one of the greats, man.
and I know
to
that
see him go out like that was just really disheartening.
it's disheartening in the aspect of reality, in the aspect of the movie. It made sense. So
and kind of like the whole death of the movie star thing, right?
yeah,
Like now today's actors, because they're not movie stars, they're actors. They're out here being like, yeah, we're not movie stars. We're accessible. We're people. We're whatever. And then we don't really have many, right? Except for Tom Cruise. And
no,
then
the big one.
to see one of Hollywood's legends just be disemboweled by 2 cubs as his last appearance on film, was like, this is where movies are going now.
Yeah. I get no respect.
No one will even have this kind of impact. I don't think in 35, 40 years, I'm going to be like, wow, I can't believe they did Justice Smith like that.
I like that. Justice Smith.
Don't they know he was in Detective Pikachu?
The only one I can see that right now currently for, it is more, honestly, more of the women actors, but the only male one I can see it for is like maybe Timothy Chalamet, where I'm like, he's gonna get to a level.
He's still too young.
Yeah, but it's like he has the trajectory.
Because like we talked about this before with Brad Pitt, which is like, I guess you can check your feelings on Brad Pitt, how you feel about him as a person and an actor, but he has kind of pissed on his own movie stardom with the choices that he's made. So I think even he laughs at his own legacy of like, no, I'm not going to be taken as a serious actor. I'm just an actor, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I'm willing to be in Deadpool for 2 seconds and get electrocuted to death, or I'm willing to be the guy. What was that movie called? That other mid movie that was out with Channing Tatum and Sandra Bullock. See, I already forgot what it's called.
Yeah,
but I did enjoy it when I watched it.
I know what you're talking about.
Not Ticket to Paradise, because that's the one with George Clooney and Julia Roberts.
Yeah.
Is it The Lost Island? What's
something Lost?
Lost Paradise?
Something, yeah.
I don't know.
I know exactly what you're talking about, but yeah.
But Brad Pitt being in stuff like that, or just, I know you like Bullet Train, but for me, it's just kind of like, what are you doing, brother?
Yeah.
You were just in Ad Astra and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. What the hell are you doing?
Yeah, he just needs the bag, I guess. He doesn't even need it. He just wants it.
Yeah. Hey, I guess you can't be too hard on these actors for wanting to work, right? They're not all Daniel Day-Lewis.
Well, he doesn't.
Where I need to retreat and recoup, and I'll be back in 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, he doesn't see himself as somebody who's like, I only do these type of movies. He's like, I do movies.
Yeah. But some of the other cast, let me see. Do you still have it up?
Yeah. So there's not a very many past that I would really say stood out to me, but Margot Martindale, which is she's the ranger, the park ranger in this movie.
She's hilarious.
Yeah, she's hilarious.
She's the best part of the movie.
She knows what movie she's in, and I just, oh my God, she has so many of the things that she says are so funny. How she treats the 3 kids, which I think are just.
I think she has the most well-directed sequence in the movie, which is, if you've seen it in the trailer, it kind of ends with the bear jumping towards the ambulance. Right?
Yeah.
But a lot of the stuff that was in the trailer, which would be like some of the more exciting stuff, was the sequences with would you say her name is Margot Martindale?
Yeah, Beth.
Yeah, she fucking kills it in this movie. She's so funny. And then that sequence that she is in with the cocaine bear.
That's what becomes that's a really good
the
scene.
horror is there,
Yeah.
right? The
Tension.
I'm not even kidding you. There is a Pulp Fiction like moment in this movie with Martin. You know what I mean? That just happened. You know, our whole theater audibly gasped, like, "Oh my god!" Right?
It was good.
Yeah, it just those small things like that. I'm like, I could see Elizabeth Banks making a really fucking good movie one day.
Yeah,
It's not there yet.
But that whole sequence, them getting found out by the ambulance, her trying to portray to them what kind of distress she's in and how she was, I think was really realistic, really well played out, and she was definitely one of my favorite parts of the movie for sure, or arguably probably the best character. I did like the kid Christian Convery as Henry. I just thought. I know little kids. That's how funny they are.
Yeah, like he would have fit right in with the
It
Bad
Kids.
News Bears.
Yeah, exactly. The Bad News Bears, the It Kids. So I was down for that. And then the only other person we talked about Scott Seiss. Just that he's a TikToker. It's funny. I had been seeing those videos of him for years now. It is kind of always cool to see them really go out there and try to make themselves something besides more of a TikTok star. And I think I really enjoyed it because he's part of that same sequence, the ambulance. I hope he gets more of like those little small comedy roles. I think he's got something there.
Yeah. The other one that I wanted to bring up was Isaiah Whitlock as the detective.
Yeah.
Because you know him from Twitter. You've seen the video. So to see him,
Be serious?
I guess, right? He was maybe the most out of place character with the most out of place story, or like how they tried to make him human. You know, that storyline of him and his puppy.
Oh
that
yeah,
he's not
yeah.
really sure about.
That was weird.
I was just kind of like, what the fuck is this, dude?
That was weird.
I'm not gonna lie. For the first 30 minutes of this movie, I was like, oh, okay, this is really bad. Like, this is not gonna be good. But I thought he was out of place, but that he's so funny on his own that even this bad dialogue and boring story that he was given, I thought he kind of did a lot with it.
Yeah. And then besides that, the only other person I actually recognized was Jesse Tyler Ferguson. I know him from Modern Family. I thought his death in this movie was actually like, it doesn't show much for his, but I did think it was effective.
Yeah, that's the standout stuff. Honestly, that's why we're here. Right?
Yeah,
we
that's why we're here.
This bear maul these people and kill all these people. Unassuming innocent bystanders.
The Grand Cinema Hotel is a big horror fandom. You know, this movie kills are up there with any horror movie that might be here this year. Yeah, I think so, honestly. So I that's honestly, those are the gracing parts that save this movie for us, I think.
So we want to talk about the bad maybe a little bit?
Yeah, the bad is, I think, what's bad in every fucking Marvel movie and everything that we don't really like. The script is terrible.
Yeah, it's so bad. It's so disconnected. It's such a short movie, and it has so many characters because, you know, I think it would be a horror movie if this was about one family.
Yeah.
You know, like the Carrie Russell story, that had that could have been its own movie, just them, right? Like her and the funny little boy trying to find her daughter.
That reminded me of fucking the new remake of the Jurassic Parks. Like where they try to make it with the gyros, like and be like, there's this tension going on between them and there's dinosaurs, you know?
Yeah, exactly. That would have been a good one. The Ray Liotta drug runner stuff, I understand that you have to have that in the movie, but the chemistry is just so bad between Alden Ehrenreich, O'Shea Jackson Jr., and Ray Liotta. That's just kind of unbelievable that these three people would ever even know each other.
Right.
And then the detective stuff, just so boring, so bland, so unnecessary. I get that. I get why you have to have the cops involved, but I really did think that it's just so.
I mean, they have the one character who switches like the cops actually with the drug runner. He's like, no, yeah, no, are you serious? You didn't see that coming. So I think that's where the movie. I'd like to think that it should think its audience is smarter than it is. You know, I understand the movie is weighing in or really diving into how dumb it's supposed to be. But I still think they need to appreciate their audience a little more. It's not that stupid.
Yeah. So I do think if you had taken all of this out and you left the family story with Kerry Russell and the park ranger story with the
Just the
and the paramedics, that alone would have been a very effective horror comedy.
Yeah, I did like that the park ranger, they knew how much like they were getting money for letting this stuff happen, of all these drug mules going around, or they were making money of all the stuff that was dropping, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I did really, like you're saying, I like that dynamic that this park ranger is actually, she's thrown off of her, you know, element, but this is also somebody who could in a horror movie would be part of the problem, right?
Yeah. Overall, just not very good, but I do think it's worth watching. Just if you really like movies and you're kind of willing to see anything, it's like, yeah, why not? This is going to be a fun time. There's going to be a lot of stupid laugh out loud moments. We really do miss this in the theater now because comedy is so small and usually TV forward. But we need more movies like this. And before we get to this point and we start doing the quick hits, I did want to mention that I think that we're in for a lot of funny comedy movies coming out, man.
Yeah, I mean, like I told you, I don't necessarily think the Renfield one throws me off all the time, but it's at the
Cringe.
same. It's at the same level this is at this point. Be like, I went to go watch this, so I don't see why I would be all of a sudden be like, this
It has
is.
Aquafina. No,
You said it, not me.
she's good in she's good in the movie where she goes back to visit her the Farewell.
The Farewell,
That's
yeah.
an amazing movie.
I
But
have seen you.
Aquafina, no, she's no Adam Sandler. You know what I mean?
Renfield, it has so that just happened. The whole
Literally,
trailer,
did
the
I just
whole
see you
trailer.
Chop a man's arms off with a tray.
Oh my god, why would you say it like that? But yes, oh my god, dude. The fact that I know the line, like it's because even this trailer, at least it just had the hard rock music, a barrel of cocaine, you know.
Yeah.
Like, it got
Excuse the sirens if you can hear it. There must be a cocaine bear outside of the hotel at the moment.
exactly. It's gone out.
You know, the other line that really gets me in Renfield, though, is when she goes, "You're basically Postmates for the bad guys."
Yeah.
I was like,
Oh.
no! My soul dies.
Yeah,
when I
they
hear
were like,
things
"Oh, you
that.
made it relatable to that brand Postmates." Shilling. Huh. Get out of here with that.
This is what's wrong with certain movies too. Like, there's some mid where I'm not gonna defend it, right? Like, I was excited for this concept of
Like you said, Nick
Nicolas
Cage.
Cage playing Dracula in a funny movie, but then when you see the finished product, you're like, this was a massive misfire.
yeah, exactly. And it's, you know what it is too with that one is the cast. Besides Nick Cage, I'm like, dude, you can't sell me this and I'm thinking it's actually gonna be good with the cast that I think is not good actors.
I don't know if I want Nicholas Hoult as a main character.
That's what I'm saying. Why this push?
Yeah, no.
No, it's okay.
I liked him better as a cuck in the
Yeah,
movie.
yeah,
That's where I
exactly.
prefer him. And I actually did quite like him as Beast when he was in the X-Men movies.
Oh yeah, that's
He was young Beast.
that's what I know him from. That's funny. I guess to close out a little Cocaine Bear before we transition off of it is my favorite scene is the ambulance scene, but specifically how the death of the park ranger. I thought that shit was really gnarly.
Oh yeah, that was pretty fucking intense,
That was
dude.
like
That's where I'm just like, okay, Elizabeth Banks has the potential. It's there. I can see it. Like, I just think she needs to leave the comedy behind and dive into the horror. A24, I need you to hire Elizabeth Banks for your next horror movie.
yeah. I mean, I'm in. You know.
I'm in on Elizabeth Banks. So I think that's enough Cocaine Bear, right?
Yeah.
Time to come down from this high and transition to some quick hits. So what else did you see, man? I know I want to hear about one in particular that I wanted to see, but you ended up watching it before me.
So I'll save that one for last, just because I know probably have a little more to talk about that one because it was one of the last ones I seen. But I did want to share with you. I watched Sharper, which is A24's new movie on Apple TV. I found it really interesting for a lot of its runtime. I thought the ending kind of killed a lot of what I was really liking about the movie. But I know you're a disciple of Sebastian Stan.
I do love Sebastian Stan.
And I'm in as well. I think the parts of Fresh that I really enjoyed and parts of this movie, he plays a very similar character, besides some obvious differences. But I think he's a really good sicko. And I really enjoyed the movie because of him. And I've kind of find out that Julianne Moore is somebody I really enjoy as well. There is some movies that she's been in where I think she takes it over the top. But I think she's been in a lot of movies I really, really enjoy. And it was just nice to see a movie like this. A24 always has one of these movies that just kind of goes slept under. And this was one I thought that was worth watching.
So keeping it on the horror trend, right? I've been watching quite a bit recently. And staying with animals, I watched Beast recently with Idris Elba.
Yeah.
And it was exactly what the fuck I want out of a man versus beast movie, right? Clunky dialogue, the chemistry. It's got a lot of the same problems as Cocaine Bear. It's just that it's not funny in any aspect.
Exactly.
Right? But very effective. I love these creature features. You know what I mean? Another one that I really like that was probably the best of this category in recent memory is Crawl, I believe it's Crawl alligator movie.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that movie's so good. If you guys have never seen Crawl,
never seen
go
that
ahead
one.
and watch that. That is an effective exercise in tension and
Creature
setting.
feature, I like that.
Yeah, I fucking love Crawl. I wish we could do that movie. But I watched Beast, which I thought was good. I saw Halloween Ends, which I thought was one of the fucking worst movies I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah,
right?
agreed.
The Halloween franchise is 2 for 2 right now on
The
some
worst
of the worst
things,
fucking movies I've ever
agreed.
seen. Bro, be fucking for real. Be like, you see the new Michael Myers. The granddaughter wants to date the new Michael Myers. She's literally like, I can fix him. This is just one of the dumbest things I've ever seen.
Ever.
Massive misfire. I'm glad John Carpenter gets a check for this. But let this die, bro. Like, this franchise is so fucking tired. Toss it in the wood chipper like Michael Myers, and let's call it
over.
a day. I'm Jover
Is-
on this movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm so tired of Halloween.
And
No,
then
thank you. I'm
20 more years so I fucking hear anything else about this franchise.
if they don't make another Halloween movie before I die, it still wouldn't be soon enough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I get it.
I'm so good on this.
I get it.
So the other one I saw, though, that I wanted to bring up was Smile, which I also thought too long, clunky dialogue. It has that problem Malignant has where it's like, if there was real actors in this movie, I think I could take it serious. But the performances are not there. But
Ending
the
scene,
effects
right?
and stuff, the monster all the monster stuff, mwah, chef's kiss, right? I do think that Smile is worth watching in pieces if you if you are not a completionist, you know? If you're one of those sickos that has to watch a movie beginning to end and can't just enjoy it on YouTube clips, I feel sorry for you, but I do think that Smile is that kind of movie.
I think you
right?
should watch it to get inspired to make a better movie based off the things. Huh?
Yeah, honestly,
a really good director
what it
should watch
reminded
it.
me of is, oh my god, today with the sirens, the cocaine
bear.
bear's running wild, right? It already killed the first set of ambulance drivers.
Our guests here. We have the ambulance drivers outside.
When your podcast ends up becoming so horror centric, your hotel gets filled up with nothing but sickos.
We have the guys from ambulance here chasing the cocaine bear.
the cocaine bear fighting in the parking lot.
I love it.
But with Smile, what I did like about it is that it reminds me of the work of manga artist Junji Ito and his work like Uzumaki and things like that, where it's a concept like, what if spirals took over your town? You know what I mean? It's like, what if there was a smiling monster, right?
Yeah.
So I was into it for that. I was very hesitant to watch it, but my wife really wanted to see it, and it's on Prime Video now. So if you have Prime, give it a chance if you have a horror itch.
I've had it saved, saying I'm gonna watch it, but that runtime always like,
Bro, it's one of those movies where every 20 minutes I was like, how much is left? Please.
yeah, like, oh my god, come on, this story's not going anywhere. Okay, so is that it for you?
Yeah, go ahead. I have a few more. It's just
Okay.
watches.
So I ended up watching this movie called The Fish Called Wanda, which is just like a very 88? Yeah, 1988 comedy with English cast. Very fun movie. I'd recommend it. I definitely thought it was interesting
Jamie
to
Lee
watch.
Curtis is in this film, no?
Yes. So this is one of the movies where Jamie Lee Curtis is just the hot girl, but it also has these other intentions. So definitely worth the watch if you get around to it. I know that it's part of the director on this is Charles Crichton, which he has like a whole series of a bunch of like humorous movies like this with the same cast. So
That's cool.
yeah, so it's I know somebody that's listening to this probably be like, damn, I can't believe you watched that. It seems to be very popular to certain type of people. I watched Creed 2, obviously setting up
preparation for the Creed episode.
for the Creed episode.
Let's
for Creed
go!
3. Definitely understand why the first one is as good as it is, and it's based off who directs it. You know what I mean? The second one here really is riding off of the back of Rocky and what really worked in the first one. I don't think it's a terrible movie, but I think a lot of the reason why I love the first one gets lost here. Even the dialogue starts to feel a little bit more clunky, and some of the decisions that Michael B. Jordan's character does start to feel a little bit like this doesn't match what the kind of like the past in the first movie. The tempo, I guess, is the word I'm looking for.
A lot of time is passing in the Creed universe, right?
Yeah.
Like between each film, it's like years between.
Because
each
it's like
film,
in the
right?
first one, it's like he's proving himself, right? And then in this one, it's like he's the champ. So he's had like, I mean, in boxing terms, that's at least 4 years, 5 years.
Yeah.
So
because I know that in this new one now that's coming out, the angle is that he has been out of the ring for like 3-4 years, right?
they're taking the Dark Knight route.
Yeah, for real. They're doing a lot of world building outside of the movies, it seems like, or a lot of it is happening off screen.
Yeah, and I think that's actually kind of like what I enjoy about it, because I think we've you included been part of the Rocky universe since we were kids.
Yeah.
So we do know that's what happens, and we've seen boxers their whole lives. That is their career. They're not there every year. You do see them very sparingly, and they have this weight to them. But I think what really has, because I hadn't seen those movies up until recently, what really did have me excited is how good Creed 3 does look.
Yeah, it looks phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I do think that Michael B. Jordan is an exciting prospect for a director.
Yeah. You're taking notes from
especially
Ryan
because
Coogler, you know?
He takes a lot from Ryan Coogler because that's one of his partners. And also, I love that he's deciding to kind of go with the anime.
Yeah,
It's an
he's so
anime
so
movie, dude.
open. He's
This
been
is a
I
Shonen
love
Jump
it.
movie.
I love
That's
it.
what I'm so excited about.
He's been so open about that, and just really referencing what the scenes that he specifically copied. You know,
Creed 3 is basically just a Shonen Jump manga. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's training sequence movie. It's power of friendship movie, right? It's just, oh man, it's gonna be one of the best anime adaptations that's not based off of one particular anime.
and we have Jonathan Majors, and we talked about him last week. Me and you are just fans of him, and yeah, I'm hyped for that movie. So I had to watch the second one. I love this universe though. So far, I really do.
I haven't seen Creed 2, and it's because I couldn't believe that they were just remaking Rocky 4,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm sure it's not pound for pound Rocky 4 again, but maybe it is. I don't know.
It has its discussions. I think that anybody who is really a fan of the Rocky sequels, for some reason for me, Rocky the first one is really really good, and I like the rest, but the fourth one really stands out to me. And I know it's not necessarily one of the better movies, but because it's Drago, it's always stood out to me. And I think that there was a lot of if you're really invested into the universe, there's questions you might have had in terms of like what was the downfall of him losing that fight. And I think that Creed 2, half of the movie is Rocky and Drago kind of like, dang, like the downfall of what they became because of that fight.
Yeah. It's got a little Cobra Kai in it for me.
Yeah,
That's
actually,
one of those things where I'm like,
Yeah, I like that.
It felt
That's a
almost
good comparison.
too meta. You know, like I know Creed itself is meta because it's a sequel to a franchise, but without rebooting it. You know, like
Yeah.
they're rebooting a franchise, but in the same world. So they've just changed the name from Rocky to Creed.
I think that's how I'm down.
It
But
is
yeah.
one of the. It's also one of the problems in movies
Right.
today, right?
Yeah.
But I do think it's well done enough to kind of toss that to the side. But for me, the second one was just a little too much ick. You know, I was kind of like put off by it. But I am gonna watch it in preparation for the third because got to be a completionist. I have to see all three.
It's good. I like it, but it definitely it's a step. It's a couple steps down from the first one. I mean, it's Ryan Coogler, right? We talked about it, and the relationship that he has with Michael B. Jordan. Obviously, as you can tell, we like these movies. It's just a quick hit, but we're really setting up the next episode for it. So this will be fun to talk
I
about.
really hope that this movie makes a shit ton of money and Michael B. Jordan does get to make an anime adaptation.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
I want to see a huge anime misfire. You know what I mean? But I want to see dude, could you imagine if they let Michael B. Jordan make whatever his Pacific Rim would be?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be so
He-
sick.
What is this? What does this weeb know? Huh?
Yeah, what is it? Oh, come on, I need all the weeb knowledge. Is
I need
Michael
the-
B. Jordan going to direct Naruto?
I need one of the world's most attractive weebs to make stuff. Right? He has the forefront to make the most nerdy stuff.
Oh man, so we'll get off of Creed for a little bit. I just wanted to bring up. I've been watching just more animation, right? Because spending a lot of time with my daughter over the holiday weekend, and we watched so many cartoons because she is getting to that point now where the cinephile training is beginning. Right, she's paying attention a lot more to movies. So we watched. We watched Moana. We watched The Mitchells versus the Machines in Spanish. I got to rewatch Alice in Wonderland recently. What else? I saw Paddington for the first time.
I need to watch that.
finally joined the Paddington cult. I definitely understand.
You get it.
Spoilers for Paddington. Nicole Kidman dies at the end of the movie. Which I was not expecting it to have such a dark turn. But because she's the bad guy, it's like, yay, she died. So
Wow.
I found that to be really, really interesting.
I heard the second one's even bigger of a banger, so I need to hop onto that universe next.
I saw Minions: Rise of Gru. It's
Banana.
okay. Yeah, banana, exactly. But the one that really caught my eye recently was The Summit of the Gods, which is a Netflix animated movie. It's about a Mount Everest expedition. It's a movie about Japanese people, but it's in French. So I was like, oh, this is interesting, right? A very good movie. I definitely would recommend that one the most of all the movies that we've talked about in these quick hits. I definitely think that movie was well deserving of the awards and praise that it got, and I'm glad I finally got around to it because I've been wanting to see it for a while. The other one that I've been wanting to see that it reminds me of in terms of tone and what kind of animated movie it is that movie Flea that Neon put out 2 years ago. I've been wanting to watch that too. So that's what happened is I was looking for Flea because I think it's on Hulu or it used to be, and then I was like, I stopped looking for it and I was like, oh, I want to watch this movie, The Summit of the Gods, and it was definitely worth
They're
watching.
similar.
Yeah, so
That's good.
that kind of wraps it up for me with my quick hits. What about you?
So I just have basically 3 more, but 2 of them are rewatches. I rewatched Knock at the Cabin again. Banger movie,
Nice.
honestly. Couldn't get enough of it. And then I rewatched The Big Lebowski because it's The Big
yes.
Lebowski. And I always like, it's funny, just a letterbox thing. I always like switching my top 4 every month. The first one, I like the different pictures. This month felt like The Big Lebowski to me. Like the end of it during March. Been drinking a lot of White Russians. Can't get enough of that movie. I think that's one of the best things you've ever shown me. But that comes down to the other movie that we're going to try to do a double episode on here. I know you're going to try to catch it later. It's supposed to be on Shudder in 2 weeks from now too, so I know you'll eventually for sure catch it, is Bunker. A movie that came out of nowhere for the trailers for us probably like 2 weeks ago when we went to go watch Knock in the Cabin. Just knew it was right up the type of stuff that I wanted to watch. It's weird because on most places it's not even really recognized. Like on Letterboxd, the most amount of people that have seen it is like 50, which makes no sense to me because I'm like, this thing's won awards and everything. So, but Bunker, I think what really limits this movie for me is was its budget. I think that the idea is really there, and I actually have this fascination. I think for World War One. I honestly think it's one of probably the worst war that we've ever in recent memory, at least.
Nasty.
Yeah, I think the whole idea of no man's land, sitting in trenches, and actually physically going insane, I think is a very, very great factor for a horror film that hasn't really been tapped into. And I think this movie was one of the first ones to really, that I know of at least, that really tried to concentrate on it. The small stuff that bugged me is like, that's what I'm saying, the budget, like their uniforms being so clean. You know what I mean? If you're sitting in the trenches, stuff like that bugs me because I can't dive myself into here. And I also think that the actors that are chosen here, they're not bad, they're just not experienced. And I think that is something that I want to see this movie be taken to, like, give Elizabeth Banks $50 million, let's see this movie. And,
That'd be sick.
the ending of this movie, I think, absolutely rips. And I think it actually, because you've seen it, the Panos Cosmatos episode of the Cabinet of Curiosities, the ending of this movie reminded me of that. To the fact that it went there, I was like, this is what I wanted the whole movie, but I think it was limited to its budget. And also, besides that, there is scenes in the movie where they are going insane. I like how all of them go insane. I just really wanted it to have been given the budget to give me those bloody scenes or whatever it is it required. So I would recommend this movie whenever you get to watch. If you're one of those, we talk about 20 movies a year people, I definitely recommend this one.
And that'd be cool if that's one of the only 20 movies you got to see in the year.
Yeah.
That's pretty sick. Well, what I'll say about the film, even though I haven't seen it, is that what really got me excited about it was that it was giving Lighthouse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay. Like, is somebody kind of doing their World War One version of the Lighthouse, which I'm so down for.
Yeah.
Going off of what you said about World War One being one of like a fascinating war to you, it kind of feels like the last war from another time. Right?
Yeah.
You're like, wow, this feels medieval, or not medieval. This feels like Civil War type of shit.
I just think, like, they
it's
call
so nasty.
World War II like the golden the golden generation because of the men, but the World War One, I was like, there's no documentation of it. All of them are dead, right? But it's the fact that everything was implemented after that they were like, okay, you can't do these things to people.
Yeah.
Like
no more mustard gas.
No,
right?
like, no, you can't just drop random bombs on people because they're Czechoslovakian. No, they have to be soldiers. All these rules were set after that. Like, there's people, all of the small things that we do have of all of those people, those soldiers, like they were devastated. It was one of the gross. It was, the technology was at the right moment where we were primitive enough, but also it was fast forward enough. Like, talking about mustard gas, like, it'll dissolve your whole skin, and we were like, yeah, just fucking throw it in there.
It goes against the Geneva Convention.
Yeah, they had to make those because of this war, So that was my point with this movie. It does have those aspects of what you said, Lighthouse, very horror driven. I just think that it needs a better cast and a bigger budget, and I think that's not a reason to hate the movie. That's just a reason to be like, I need more of this.
Yeah, or like, okay, interesting. It's like a thesis film.
Exactly.
We're like, oh, okay, this director, I do want more of.
Give
what
him
they're
more.
giving, right? Mm-hmm. So I think it's a good thing I haven't got to see it yet, and that we weren't talking about it today because I know it'll have more word of mouth once it is on Shudder. Mm-hmm. So expect that episode coming soon. March. Getting off quick hits, I kind of want to talk about the future. March is an exciting month for us. We have Creed, we have 65, which is a movie I can't fucking wait to talk about.
You talk about mid-budget.
It's right up this cocaine bear beast kind of route of movies that we've been getting lately, but with dinosaurs, which is like, why are we not getting more dinosaur movies? I don't understand that. Why Jurassic Park just has a full hold on dinosaur cinema.
Well, we got that lawyer movie, right? Velocipaster.
Velocipaster. Yeah. I also don't want that though. But Adam Driver and his own kind of like Planet of the Apes, Jurassic Park like movie is a very exciting prospect. So I can't wait for that. Scream 6, the return of our queen Jenna Ortega.
Looks good.
Yeah. It does look fun. I definitely want to see Ghostface wielding a shotgun.
Yeah, what's up with that? Cool. No, you're not supposed to do that.
Yeah, well, he killed a guy with a garage door, or he killed a lady with the garage door in the first one. So I think it's okay for him.
Have you seen these movies before? Right? That's always like But no, I'm actually excited for Scream as well. Even last year when the fifth one came out, it just seemed like such a reboot, a requel. What do they call it?
A requel sequel.
A requel sequel.
I don't know what they call it.
But I watched it and I did end up enjoying it. So the sixth one, I think I'm down for. I like the marketing a lot. I think the good posters are back because of this movie. Mm-hmm. I like the Manhattan aspect. I like that for some reason they're gonna do one of the first viewings, a fan event, to be 3D.
Really?
A little tempted by that. Yeah.
That's interesting. We might have to do it because why not?
Well, because I'm never gonna rewatch that movie in 3D when I watch it again. It might be a one-time thing, and I'm not a big fan of 3D, but I think the fact that they think there's scenes in this movie that could work in 3D, I'm kind of interested.
We might have to do that. That sounds fun. Yeah, let's look into that. We'll handle that off pod. But so we have an exciting month of what these movies we just talked about, and I like where we are with the movies that we've been discussing. We've been doing a lot of mainstream stuff, but I do think that one of the differences between when we started the pod and now is that the A24s and the Neons, they have just become so much more popular, even in that small amount of time. Not to say that we started and A24 wasn't popular, but it really is kind of on a different level now. So,
well, Everything Everywhere All at Once is not something that I would have assumed before 2 years ago that would be forefronting winning all of these awards, and now it seems to be the heavy favorite. And it's not. I'm in love with that aspect, but it is within 2 years the tide has changed. I think Parasite winning kind of really started that, but I didn't think it would continue, and now it kind of seemed like even the Academy, maybe they're getting younger, but it seems like they are more noticing the movies that we thought were maybe too artsy.
Yeah, so taste is changing. We're getting a little older, so the movies that we like are becoming a little more mainstream. So films like Bunker, movies like Skinamarink, like these are now the small indie movies. Like
sometimes they're on streaming.
Insane that like Infinity Pool and things like that are like mainstream popular movies. Even if they are not a lot of people see them, they're talking points and they're movies that people have heard of. So
exactly,
kind of wild.
They have actors that are in other big things, you know.
Damn, now I need to find new things to gatekeep. I gotta go.
Yeah, sorry. We didn't.
So, thank you for checking back in. Like, comment, subscribe. I forgot to say that in the beginning, but it's gonna be an exciting March, and I hope you join us.
All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.